What are the big aesthetic procedures coming in 2025? Everybody wants to know, and we're going to break them down full throttle on Hey Doc next. Hey Doc audience, so Forbes magazine came out with their top procedures according to plastic surgeons in the 2025 beauty forecast. They called it the undetectable era of plastic surgery. Rod, you know, there's a lot of things listed here, but they started with regenerative aesthetics, so things like exosomes and stem cells. So what do you think?
Well, I mean, the undetectable era, I mean, that's the era we should be in.
Yeah.
And actually the era that plastic surgery that's done well has always been in. It's just that it's been highlighted by Lindsay Lohan. And, you know, is it because, you know, she actually cleaned up, you know, she's talked about how she's been in rehab and has, you know, dissolved all her fillers and has great skincare. And I think she had a little help with the scalpel and she looks fabulous, and Demi Moore and others as well. So I think that the undetectable era of plastic surgery should stay that way. It should always be that way. And exosomes and these bioregenerative stimulating agents are the new era because people are tired of getting filled and overfilled. You know, they look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow, and we're now deflating them. We're deflating lips and breasts. And so I think that's a good thing. And I think we're getting away from the foxtail, the ponytail lift to how about a real human facelift? What a novel idea that is.
Yeah. Exosomes, stem cells. I think we're still learning about all those things and figuring out where they work best. But clearly there's a place for these things. They talk about in Forbes that, oh, now fat transfer is going to become really hot. Isn't that old news?
It's totally old news. You know, we described how people age in 2007, and I've been using fat in all my facelifts for almost 20 years. You know, but it's kind of back to the future, Bill. Of course, fat is the best filler. It's your own fat, and you put it in the right place. You don't just put it all over. And if you do it right, it looks good and it looks natural. And I think it's highlighted by all the people today that are looking good, like Lindsay Lohan I mentioned and others. I think they've had fat over fillers. And facial fat looks more natural if it's placed properly.
Yeah. Then they also talk about early intervention blepharoplasty or early intervention facelift. So first of all, tell everybody what that means, and then what do you think?
I think early intervention, anything. I mean, if they have massive weight loss, or if they really have had some type of degenerative problem, or, you know, really the Ozempic patient, you know, that is in their 40s and has lost 100 pounds with Ozempic, or one of the semaglutides, yeah, I think they can have early intervention. I think we all know that if you do early intervention facelifts, like in their late 40s, early 50s, these patients look better, longer than if you do it in the 60s. So I actually love doing facelifts in the late 40s, early 50s. So I think, again, that's not necessarily new. You do that with a deeper layer facelift and fat, it works beautifully. So I think we're just kind of reinventing the wheel. And honestly, in Dallas, Texas, we've been doing this a long time because the age of looking weird is out. It's been out for a long time, you know. We're in the face protection, not witness protection program in Dallas. So, you know, and I see patients from all around the world, and so do you, Bill. It's just tragic.
Yeah, good plastic surgery is when you can't tell you had it done, right?
Yeah, you had it done.
Yeah, I totally agree. But we want to hear from you. Make sure to leave comments below and let us know what you think. And also make sure to subscribe to Hey Doc. Chin implants. Is there something new with chin implants?
Not really. In fact, I think I use less chin implants because I use fat augmentation for subtle augmentation. So, I mean, I love chin implants. It's probably the only implant that I use consistently in the face. You know, cheek implants look terrible because they don't age well. You look like a chipmunk in 10, 15 years, but chin implants last a long time. So if they're done well, but many times you can add fat. So I don't think that's new, but in massive weight loss procedures, of course it's a great operation, but the trade-off is lots of scars in the arms and the breast.
Yeah. They talk about breast implant innovations. You know, we talked about one just recently, the larger reconstructed breast implant that was just approved, the Mentor Enhance. I'm not sure there's any new breast implant innovations that are even any innovations. I think the latest thing is that reconstructive implant that we already did a Hey Doc segment on, but the current implants are, not much different than what they were. There's a few nuances I think that are good.
Yeah, I agree. And plus, and you're a world expert, Bill. Breast implants, they've got a lot of science on them behind them. The silicone implants, they're overall very, very safe. And so I personally think that we should base on that science and not do crazy things and add new innovations until they've been tried and true many, many years. So I think we're pretty solid base. We've been through all of the past with all the litigation. So I think breast implants are safe overall, and they should be used accordingly.
This Forbes list, I would characterize it as like pretty spare. I mean, I don't think there's anything really new in this. But Rod, I mean, you're probably one of the foremost, if not the most foremost authority in plastic surgery worldwide. So, I mean, what would you say? What would you say the big trends would be for 2025, or what would be the one trend that would come to your mind? And you go, this is something I think is really, really good and something I'd look forward to in 2025.
I think going off on the undetectable era is that why don't we all in the world, especially in the US and in Hollywood, and all go to the undetectable era of plastic surgery and quit naming procedures, trademarking them, and doing crazy stuff that's hard to reverse. Injecting, permanent fillers in people and making people look weird. Let's get away from that. So I would say that. And number two is let's concentrate on things that are natural, and let's concentrate on making the post-op recovery better. Hyperbaric oxygen. There's a great new CO2 mask that you can put on that'll enhance wound healing. Light therapy. All these things that make post-op recovery better and safer. Those are the things that I think people want, because as you know, we're a now generation. We want surgery now, we want the recovery now, and we want to look great now. So that would be probably what we should focus on.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And less emphasis on the number of social media clicks you're going to get, right, or the number of views on your TikTok, because those things typically aren't the best thing for the patient.
Right.
They're the crazy stuff and the stuff that, is not beneficial, causes long-term issues, and is not the safest thing for the patient. So, all right, that's great stuff, Rod. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Hey Doc, where we shared the Forbes version of the 2025 beauty forecast and a few of our own. As these trends evolve, it's important to know where to draw the line. So don't miss our next episode, the shocking reality of excessive facial fillers, a surgeon's perspective.